Hi everyone, it's Deborah from Let's Get Real About Mental Health. And I thought it is only fitting that it be my first live. So forgive any noise you hear in the background or any of my stumbling of speech, because I'm still a little bit anxious. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was I wanted to talk about anxiety. Since I posted my opening, welcome to Let's Get Real About Live Chat. The anxiety I had between the 2 days between when I recorded the video and when I posted it were absolutely unreal. So I really wanted to kind of share that with you guys and let you know like what kinds of things I do and the different stages of my anxiety. So for me, and keep in mind I am medicated for my anxiety. I can talk about that. I'm on Atarax for my anxiety because one of the things I do when I'm anxious is I get very scratchy, very itchy, and I scratch a lot. Let's make that correct. Stage one, when I start feeling anxious, I start the pretty classic nail lip biting, and I do a lot of this turning of my rings. Okay. And I also start to fidget a lot. I'll do a lot of fidgeting, this kind of stuff. And my stomach starts to get, a little bit anxious. You know how that feeling is. But what do I do during that stage of anxiety? What I do is one of the first things I do is I put on some aromatherapy. Lavender works really well for me. And I have one of those contraptions, I don't know what they're called, is that it changes color and it humidifies the water and the essential oil that I put in the water. So usually if I am on top of it, I can get a hold of stage one and I can talk myself down. And it does take some positive self-talk. That's another thing that I do. Don't worry about it. You've got this handled. You've done this 100 times before. You can do this, Deborah. Some of the other stuff that I do is at this stage, I actually play just some calm music. I wouldn't say anything like too like sleepy music, but stuff that's my favorite. My favorite genre of music is country music. So I'll play something that I'm familiar with. I know the words, so I'll start singing those words in my head instead of focusing on my negative self-talk. Because I think I'm with this with everybody is that like everybody, we all have negative self-talk that starts rearing its ugly head even in the early stages of anxiety. The other thing that I like to do is art. I like to paint, I sculpt, you name it. I will find something to do. I may not be very good at it, and that's okay. What is important is that I'm trying to distract my mind. In this early stage of anxiety, I do also do some meditating. Now, with that being said, I cannot meditate how they want you to. They want you to sit still, be mindful, be zen. Nope. Even medicated, that is a very hard state for me to achieve. So what I will do is I'll put on a meditation and I will start to do things around the house, like the dishes, or I'll do my laundry, or, I'll try to do some yoga. That's another thing that I do early stage anxiety. And just listen to the words. Now, recently, a friend sent me, and I'm going to be rude and look on my phone while I'm trying to chat with you guys. A friend sent me a link to this great meditation. Now, it was specifically for caregivers. However, there were some really valid points that were made by her, and I cannot tell you what it was about her voice or what, but man, did she have me just feeling so much better in as little as, I believe it was only a 5 minute, like a 5 minute meditation. So what I'm looking for right now, I'm just doing it really quick. See if I can find the link he sent me. And one of my dearest, closest friend, Mike, he's been my technical advisor through this whole thing. And he's been helping me by sending me little things like this that I can discuss during our. Okay, so the lady's name is Dr. Kirsten Neff. Kirsten is Kristin, and the last name is Neff, Neff. Now, as soon as I figure out how to put the link up on my page, I will be happy to put the link up for her because this absolutely 100% helped me. And I've never found a meditation that has calmed me that fast. And I wasn't sitting still. I was doing my thing. I was hanging out and I just listened to it. And my gosh, I just felt so much better about my day, about what was going on with me. Okay. So stage 2 for me comes the I can't sit still stage. I start shaking my leg just up and down, and I mindlessly, I just keep shaking that leg and it drives people who are sitting next to me crazy. Okay. Now, in this stage of my anxiety, I start having a lot of that self-talk, that negative self-talk. What I like to call my inner bitch. My inner bitch comes out and he starts telling me how awful I am. I am no good. Nobody will want to listen to this channel. This channel, you're not going to accomplish anything but embarrassing yourself, Deborah. Why would you want to do that? So at this point, you have to start, for me, it's time for me to take extra medication because that's the point where I know I can't get control of this without a little bit of help. And that extra dose of medication is what I like to do. Also with this stage, and we can talk about where some of these thoughts come from in a later date. Being told I'm dumb, I'm stupid. I even hear myself telling myself that, you're fat, you're old, you're ugly. Why would anybody want to listen to what you have to say about mental health? You're a freaking crazy broad. So these are the kind of things that go on in my head. And yeah, I know it's really hard, and I am not very nice to myself at this stage in the game. And I just I have learned how, in recovery from my anxiety attacks, how I have to talk to myself and feel better about myself. Okay, so stage 3, my thoughts are now just starting to run rapid. There is no rhyme nor reason to them. They just run rapid, and I am starting to have a lot of difficulty thinking. I can still probably hold on to a thought or two, but I'm only able to hold on to them for a couple of minutes max, and then I forget about what else is going on. I start doing something that drives me crazy. It drives my family crazy. This is where I start the scratching part. Okay. And I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to show you this is because I had such a horrible anxiety attack about posting that video, my welcome video. I did this to my arm. Now I'm going to show you my arm, but do keep in mind, please, that I'm on a medication called prednisone. So it makes the scratching that I'm doing appear a lot worse than what it is. So this is what my arm looks like right now. As you can see, I have been scratching everywhere. Okay. There you go. That's a little better. So that is my right hand. So my left hand is usually the one that I scratch with. And I do it mindlessly. I don't set out to go, okay, I'm going to start scratching, but I start itching. Okay. And that's one of my signs of my anxiety is I start to itch. Now at this point, I have to take something else because I've got to get I got to start, something has to be done to break the cycle. So this is where I use my CBD. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm by no means a therapist. I'm just giving you ideas of what I do. I don't have a whole lot of luck with CBD edibles, okay? Because I tend to be very, very, very little causes a pretty big reaction for me. So if I eat something, I'm not exaggerating, it's usually like the ear off a gummy bear. It's that little of a dose. But it lets me slow down enough that I can get a hold of my thoughts again. Okay. Also what I do at this point is I start crying a lot. I start believing the self-hatred, the self-doubt, the bad talk, the inner bitch. I start believing all that stuff about myself. So people, unfortunately, will hear me say, I knew I shouldn't have done this. I'm a terrible person. I'm useless. Who do I think I am that I think I could be able to help these people or anyone or help myself even. I'm not even a strong enough person to do that. So that's kind of stuff that goes on with me in my second. Now, the other thing that happens during this third stage is I change my music. Same music stays on, but the volume goes up considerably because I have got to break through my thought process because I'm headed straight to a panic attack at this point, an absolute straight panic attack. So with the next thing that I do is stage 4 is what I consider my hurricane. Okay. I'm actually walking right into a panic attack. That's all there is to it because my thoughts are whirling around in my head and I have a bunch of really interesting little short thoughts. Okay. And then I have the bad short thoughts, and the bad short thoughts and the good thoughts are competing for space in my brain. Well, at this point, I can't even hold a complete thought process down. I can think, oh, this is a good thing, I should try it. 2 seconds later, I forget what the heck I thought about and how I was going to try it. So I start shaking, I start sweating, I start having, if it gets much further in the attack, I'll start to hyperventilate. And I think that's actually something that a lot of us do. So initially, and the scratching goes from just my arms are itching now to my neck, my back, and sometimes my ears are turned red. And I absolutely just can't. And I start to do what I call the 6 mile gaze. And I think a lot of people are maybe calling it disassociation. I don't know if that's what I'm using correctly, but I will get into my head with all these whirling thoughts and I'll just stare off because I absolutely cannot grasp a thought to anchor myself to. At this point, I have to do the 5 touch. Okay. My 5 touch method. And I know it's called something else officially, but this is what I call it. I start, and I do at this point need probably another person in the room to help me. I start to do the see 5 things that I can, you see 5 things in the room. Okay. I see those 5 things. Okay. I'm now going to touch 4 things in the room. Okay. I'm now going to do 3 colors in my room. And then 2, I'm going to take 2 big, deep breaths and hold them for a minimum of 20 seconds. And 1, I'm going to draw 1 big cleansing breath. Got to envision it. And I bring it in, literally feel like it's coming into my body from the top of my head, and it's protecting me from all this random thoughts. Now, that would be awesome if it worked on the first time. It usually doesn't. I have to do it probably about 3 or 4 times before I can calm myself down to where I can start being productive and helping myself. And the first thing I do once I've shut down the randomness, the hurricane has the gale force winds are starting to slow down, and I'm starting to be able to hold my thoughts together again for a little bit of time. I go and I find my playlist, which is called Get the Fuck Out of Your Head, Deb. Literally, that's what it's called. And this is music in itself. It is loud, hard music. It's not country music. It's usually Kid Rock. It's usually Eminem. Anything that's loud, hard, and in your face. And the reason for that, and the reason that it works for me, is because I start to do a couple of things. I bob my head, I turn up the volume, and then I start dancing around my kitchen. And we're not talking good dancing or anything. We're just talking, jumping around the kitchen, getting into the music that's going on in my iPods. And that allows me to break the cycle of the hurricane. Also with this, I'm going to be honest, after I do the jumping around, listen to the hard banging music, I then will, and I can't recommend this. I'm in no way am I saying that this is the best thing to do, but it works for me. I have a minimum of 2 beers. Well, let's be honest. It's not beer. It's White Claw because, I am a 50-year-old woman. That's what we drink. So I do my White Claw. And by the time I finish the second one, I'm dancing around. I usually am like, oh, wait, I feel better. And the reason that I feel better is because I kicked on some endorphins in my body, and endorphins are a great thing to make you feel better. Okay. They give you that little high that you need, and it drags me up to the point where I'm like, I beat you. I beat you back. Anxiety. I beat you back. My inner bitch, you can shut the fuck up because I won again, and I'm never going to lose to you again. And they may win momentarily when my anxiety takes over, but they're never going to rule my life again. And that is what is important. That's the thought process that will save my butt every time. And and again, I can't say that this is recommended. This is just what I do. And what I want to hear is what do you guys do? How do you get through your days? What do you do for these anxiety attacks? Stage 1 through 4, or if you go red line to stage 5, to the point where you actually have to breathe into a paper bag because you're going to pass out. That's fine. Let me know about it. I want to hear what you guys are doing. And before I wrap this up, I did have one question come in, and it says I should upgrade to whiskey. instead of White Claw. If I did that, I'd probably drink more than one. So I'm not going to do that at this point. But thank you for your input. I really appreciate it. I do need to do a little bit of a thanks, shout out for a thank you. I put this channel together and I put my welcoming statement up, and I was just really proud of myself for doing that. And I got so much love from my friends and my family, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. But there's one person who's been through thick, thin, hell, back, forth, and will always be there with me no matter what. And she's been there since the very beginning. Well, all right, 2 years of my life, because I'm 2 years older than she is. But I have to give a special shout out to my sister, Annie. Annie, I cannot tell you how much you're telling me that you're proud of me meant to me, seeing that on my comments, because, girl, I think you're probably the best human being I know on this planet. You are, without a doubt, the best human being I know. And I wouldn't be where I'm standing today if I didn't have your support in all things in life. So I wanted to make sure you knew that I love you. All right, I'm going to wrap this up before I get anybody gets too terribly bored. Please send your comments, questions, anything you want me to talk about. I will gladly do it. And again, just, remember, it's okay to struggle with your mental health. It is okay. But the point is not okay. It's not okay to quit. Don't ever quit on yourself. And always, always be kind to yourselves. Have a good night, y'all.